Welcome to Liquid Metal Effects. Today we're going to be talking to you about our water-based binder and how you can use it to achieve a various range of different finishes. Behind me you can see some things we've created, but you can create more than just what you see. We've got aluminum in a hand application. We've got copper with a little bit of black pulling through. We've got brass that's been sprayed. We have a custom color blend that we've done that's 3 different metals together. We've got copper with a blue patina, black Venetian plaster with aluminum and bronze. We have copper with a stippled texture on top and a patina applied and then rubbed back. Here you've got nickel silver, and here you have a damask stencil over top of a Venetian plaster that has embellished the whole surface. This finish is copper with a green patina, and here you have a black Venetian plaster used at the same time with copper LMFX. Let's talk about sandpapers. I'm very partial to Mirka Abranet Ace line. We use 320, 600, and 1000 for most of our sanded finishes. We also really like Trizac 1000s. These are really important because they really bring out the shine in the metal. But you need to be cautious because these do not extract the dust like the Mirkas do. This is a net mesh and it will extract all the dust while you're using them. When we go over to the sanders, I'm very partial to Mirka. I really like Mirka sanders. They come in 2 styles, 2.5 millimeter orbit, which is really tight. And then you've also got a 5.0, which is a wider circle and it works a lot faster. If you want to really burn through some stuff and make sure you're really cutting through the metal to draw out that polish, you can use a Rotex. This is a much bigger sander, so if you're working on ceilings and things of that nature, you do not want to use this one. It's quite large and cumbersome, but it can really do a good job if you want to move quickly. Another important tool that you're going to need are actually these interface pads. These come in very thin and also up to 1/2 inch like this. These are great because they help contour to the metal. Another important 2 items that you can use for sanding the metal are actually just regular sanding pads. These work fantastic, especially for getting into tight corners. Another great one is steel wool. We buy them in big rolls like this. You can literally just take a pair of scissors, cut them down for the pieces that you need. You want to use quadruple 0 for anything with metal with steel wool. Next up is the safety equipment. What you're going to need is a NOSH approved mask for vapor and for dust, and you're definitely going to need gloves. You want to protect your hands because this stuff dries wicked hard on your fingers. Next up, the most important tool you're going to need is a dust extracting vacuum. We really prefer the Hilti Vacs. They work really well. It has a cleaning feature, and it also doesn't have a bag that you constantly have to throw away and replace. And you can now get the filters online on Amazon and save a small fortune. So we really like this vacuum, and it would be the one I would go to, but you could use Rigid, you could use Festool, you could use Mirka. You don't have to get a Hilti, but you 100% want to use a vacuum when you're using this whole process. Next thing you're going to need are rollers. You've got a foam roller, a velour one, and a 6-inch 3/4 inch roller. This is the one that you would use if you were putting on metal because you need to have the density of it for the metal, or otherwise you're not going to have enough to cover. It's going to be very thin. So these are the types of rollers I would use for priming and also for putting on the metal. We have an air scrubber. You can use 2 different types of filters. This is a carbon filter, and this one is just strictly for regular dust. If you have one of these near the area where you're working, it'll extract all the minimal dust that you're getting when you're working with these materials. Next up in your arsenal are going to be your application trowels. We've got 4 different sizes that I would recommend that you have. We've got the smallest version, which is a 7-inch. These tools are very flexible and they're super important when you're using these for applying the liquid metal because you want it to go on at a very nice transitional phase instead of it being very harsh, and the material is very creamy. The next one we have is a 9.5 inch trowel, and it's kind of tapered. We have the rhombus trowel, which is great for getting into corners. You'll notice that all these trowels have rounded edges, also very important. If you're gonna try to create a finish that is very smooth and almost no movement, you're gonna want somebody applying in front of you with a roller, and you're gonna wanna come back with this 16-inch trowel because you can get the least amount of tool marks and really create a nice flat level finish. The next thing you're gonna wanna get is a scale. The reason you're gonna want this is so that you can properly mix the materials in their ratios and know how to take a small amount, like on a board like this, and then scale that to a huge wall. These products can be expensive, so if you don't know what your ratios are and how much you're gonna need for your job, if you're ordering and you need more, you could get into a situation where you're working on a surface and you're gonna run out. So I highly recommend that you mix with a scale so that you know what you're going to need for your projects.